Morning, everybody. Welcome to Woodbridge High School. For those who don't know me, my name is Glenn Lotman. I'm the principal of this fantastic school. And thank you. I'd like to start off by saying welcome to Mayor McCormick, Miss Ehrlich, Board of Education member, Miss Bourdain, Woodbridge High School Director of Athletics, Mr. Ward, Mr. Gardner, the incredible Mr. Warren, who I consider one of my greatest mentors, and members of the Chomicki family. Again, welcome to Woodbridge High School. It's a true blessing to be here to honor the great Mr. Chomicki. I first met him in September of 2001, 21 years ago, when I started my career as a teacher and coach here at Woodbridge High School. He was already a very well-respected teacher and coach. I was stationed most of the time in if you're not familiar with the building, I apologize, but I think most of you are familiar with Woodbridge High School. I see a lot of Woodbridge Athletics shirts. I was stationed mostly in D21, but definitely on the D wing, and he was in like the D14, D16 science room, so I often just watched him. Not like in a creepy way, but just watched him. I just watching Mr. Chomicki interact with his students and athletes. He taught me so much as a new educator. You know, I think we've all heard the old statement. I heard it over and over again when I was in high school and college. You know, you go ahead and you find a job that you truly love, because if you do, you could probably finish my statement, you never work a day in your life. So we've all heard that, you know, time and time again. But Mr. Chomicki was the first person that I met and worked with that truly emulated that. He was here for, I don't even know how many years he worked here at Woodbridge High School. By the time I got here in 2001, I don't know how many years he had in, but I never saw him have a bad day. Always smiling, always helping his students, always helping his athletes here on the track, always helping other teachers with whatever everyone needed. Learned so much from the man, and the weirdest part is I don't think he knows how much he helped me, which is just what he's all about. So, again, it's an honor to be here. I will forever be grateful that this track starting today will honor this man's fantastic legacy. So I thank you all for being here. I thank you for allowing me to be a small part of this presentation. Like I said, it's an honor. Thank you so much. And this time I'd like to call up our next speaker, Mr. Gardner. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Lotman, and for all the great work you do here at Woodbridge High. There we go, we're back on. First, just with the football field behind us, I just want to take a quick minute to remember Coach Capraro, whose funeral is today, and he gave so many contributions. And just real quick, I didn't play football, but when we were running around the track, Coach Capraro was a good friend of my Uncle Charlie Fitz. And so he knew who I was. And running around the track, Frank could be in this intense practice with football field. But he always would find a minute, would say, "Let's go, Gardner. What are you trying to prove? Prove you're the best." The guy was just amazing and an incredible motivator for anybody he knew and for everybody at Woodbridge High. So just like Coach Chomicki, I hope his family can find great comfort knowing the great contribution that these men have made to Woodbridge High and to our community. And along those lines, certainly Mrs. Chomicki, Mike, Valerie, and the entire Chomicki family. This is just an incredible thing that we're all so happy to be a part of. My wife Janine, literally her first impression of Woodbridge High, freshman year, first period, first class, Henry Chomicki's biology class. So as we frequently reminisce about Woodbridge High and Henry Chomicki, of course, she talked about his great ability to bring stories and somehow connect them to a lesson plan at something that 14 or 15 years old people, high school students, would be able to connect. And so all of you who know Henry Chomicki know that ability well. And I know from, our Facebook friends, even a guy like Joe Check, who's now out in Ohio, Andy Thompson in Georgia. We've got the Onishak brothers here, Wendy Novak, Skip Urban, Jeff Griffin, so many of my teammates. When we talk on Facebook, no matter what the post is about, somehow it ends up going back to track and Henry Chomicki. And for me personally, just before I entered Woodbridge High School, my mom had passed away. So going into high school is challenging enough having that happen. I'm lucky I had a great family to take care of me, but certainly Mr. Lotman, Dr. Lotman, the teachers at Woodbridge High obviously played a major role in keeping me straight, but there's a lot of time after school. So then I went to track practice. And Henry Chomicki was just really, really amazing. He knew my situation. He knew all of us. Got to know our families, cared about us very deeply, much more than just his job as a teacher or as a coach. And so he made sure that I had the same opportunity that every student here should have to dream and to achieve things. And it didn't just stop there. When I was about to go to college, he went out of his way to introduce me to John Moon, the coach at Seton Hall, gave me another great opportunity to continue running and be part of a great program. But I don't want you to think Henry Chomicki's a saint. This one story goes into his retirement. Now, we lived only a few blocks from the Chomickis for many years, and when he would see us around town, and if I do something like this, you'll recognize the coach. He was always giving you one of these when he was about to give some kind of profound statement, whether it was in the classroom, on the track, unbelievable. And he would say, Kenny, or whoever it was. So to my kids, he would say, ask your father about Noel Thomas. Noel Thomas. I hope you don't know his name, because for 10 glorious years, I held the 400-meter hurdle record here at Woodbridge High until Noel Thomas came and broke it. And every time Chomicki saw my kids, he would remind them to give me that little jab. So even in retirement, he kept his wit, he kept his great competitive nature, and we thank him so much for that. This dedication really is going to literally cement Henry Chomicki's legacy into Woodbridge High School and to the track. And Dr. Lotman, please thank all your staff for the great job they do for us. And we hope that you can just share a few stories. The Stawicki sisters have done an incredible job by creating the In Memory of Henry Chomicki Facebook page. And so when Janine and I, after Henry's retirement, recommended the track be dedicated, and then got a letter back from the board saying we only do this for people who are deceased. And you all probably know now that we got to share that story with the coach, and he said, I won't run in front of your car anytime soon. So he knew this was going to come eventually, and you know him, he didn't want it for himself, but he certainly was deserving. And so Janine and I knew from the classroom and for our own experiences how great this man was. But when you look at the In Memory of Henry Chomicki page and the petition that garnered 3,100 plus signatures, the stories, you can replace the name Ken and Janine with other people and all of you here. And it wasn't just us. It wasn't just our classmates. The man did it for generation after generation after generation. So his story is one that will continue to be told and should be told. God bless you, Chomicki family. Thank you for sharing him with us. And God bless Henry Chomicki. Thank you very much. And although I can't say this as strong as I should, and as my teacher will, I'll end with this great line that the next speaker will do even better than me. Let me introduce our great retired teacher and Woodbridge High principal, and by then I'll say, go Barons!
Well, good morning, everyone. To our mayor and to all those who have come this great day. I'm so proud to be here. Chomicki was a very special guy. Very special. And it's a beautiful thing when you have left a legacy. I look first of all at the principal of Woodbridge High School, who's doing a fantastic job. Mr. Ward, the AD. Yeah. Don't tell anybody, Mr. Ward played for me as a freshman football player. Did a great job. And Mike Stawicki. I'm here because Mike Stawicki went to Tufts. I was the ISS guy. And Stawicki left. And he gave me an opportunity to get in the classroom. And I stayed in the classroom until I became vice principal here. So I give Stawicki, give him applause. Mr. Chomicki was a very special man. Special because he cared about children. Beyond everything else, he cared. He was the one who came in early, stayed late. And beyond that, he was also an outstanding teacher. Oh, man. Stoic was, and he loved it. He made it fun. You know, education should be fun. And Stowicki was that kind of gentleman. He would run with the kids. I can remember on these bad days when they couldn't run outdoors, they'd be in the building, running those halls. I said, well, Stowicki's here. The track team is here. And they would run up and down, even to the second floor. I don't know what the second floor was doing, but they went to the second floor. He used everything in his arsenal. And so when I got the call that this was going to happen, I'm in retirement, y'all. I came out of retirement for Stoic. Chomicki. See, I'm still thinking about him. Still, family, it's all family, it's all right. But I came out of retirement for Chomicki because I loved him as a person. I loved him. He was always the same. He didn't have a bad day. Every day was a good day. And that's beautiful. So, thank you, the Gardeners. I remember Janine as a cheerleader. I remember Kenny as a track guy. They're part of Woodbridge High School. And you are a part of Woodbridge High School. And I will forever be a part of Woodbridge High School, and so will Chomicki. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. To everyone, I'm proud. I'm honored to be here today. It's a privilege to be here today. And may the memory of Henry Chomicki continue to last as a legacy in the annals of Woodbridge High School. Woodbridge High School, we are the best. And before I sit down, I'm getting happy. Before I sit down, as Kenny said, let me finish this by saying, go Barons! We love you, Chomicki. We love you. We love you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Joe Ward. I'm the athletic director of Woodbridge High School. I'm the one who put the program together, and I don't know what I was thinking, put myself after Mr. Warren. I should have learned my lesson all those years when he was the principal and I was the athletic director, and I had to follow him. But thank you for being here, Mr. Warren. I know you really added to the day. I've been able to work for two wonderful principals, and they're here today, Mr. Warren, Dr. Lotman, really make my job very easy. So I want to thank them both since they're both here today. Many of the comments that I've heard as everybody was arriving was how wonderful the facilities look here. And we are very, very lucky with the facilities here inside the school and behind the school. And a big person to thank for that is here today, and I want to thank Mayor McCormick. I want to welcome and congratulate on this special day the Chomicki family. I want to welcome all the family, friends, former student athletes. Thank you for your patience in getting here today. And thank you for helping, especially Mike, his son, putting this together. We are very lucky to have people like Coach Chomicki that we're able to honor and teach our current and future students about the history of Woodbridge High School. And I look forward to them reading this plaque that will be inside the school and learning about his great career and the great man that he was. I also like to introduce some people here today. We have our current boys cross country coach here, Joe Rotella. We have our current winter and spring track boys track coach, Jesse Angatia. Coach Angatia has done a great job continuing what Coach Chomicki has started here. We have former... Ooh. All right.
That was an applause for Jesse.
We have former track and cross country coach Norma Grasso.
Yeah, Norm.
I know many of you had the pleasure of running for her. Welcome back, Coach Grasso. We also have a couple teachers here, Brian Casey and Kelly Terrell. I never had the pleasure of having Coach Chomicki as a teacher when I was a student here, and I wasn't part of the track team. I really got to know him when I came back here as a teacher and then eventually as athletic director. But he was transitioning out as the track coach as I was coming in as the athletic director. But after a couple years of being the athletic director, I found out that he was officiating track. So I gave him a call and I asked him would he like to officiate track meets here at Woodbridge High School, and he was over the moon happy to come here and do that. And just seeing him arrive, and as I greeted him, you could see, you know, like just a brightness, a glimmer in his eye as he looked out on the track and he looked at the student athletes participating. He just loved the sport of track, and he loved the student athletes participating in it. And you know, he would have done it for free, but he took the voucher. But he definitely would have. And there was times he had to turn me down because of other commitments and stuff. And you could tell, you know, he really, really wanted to be here. But I was so happy to see him, you know, continue to be a part of the track program in that way. And, you know, I'm glad we had that opportunity to do this. You know, so with this dedication today, we'll be able to forever cement his legacy. I would say our founding father of the Woodbridge High School track program will forever be cemented in history here for all to remember and see his name when they come here for track meets and football games and soccer games. So again, congratulations to the Chomicki family. I know you guys are very proud of him. We are here as well. So thank you very much. At this time, I'm going to introduce our mayor, John McCormick.
Thank you very much. I might be the only person here who does not know Henry as a teacher. I did not know Henry as a track coach. I didn't go to school here. I remember Henry and Pat in the 90s when I worked for the town. McGreevy was the mayor, and there was always rumors that the Woodbridge Developmental Center was going to be closed, and Henry and Pat had a son there. And I remember their advocacy, and then when McGreevy became the senator as well as being the mayor, he had an even greater voice and used that to keep that place open. Of course, he was governor for several years, continued that pressure to keep it open. It wasn't until 2014, 2 governors later, that it actually finally closed. But I remember Henry and Pat, again, not as a coach, not as a teacher, just as a human being and just as an advocate for people, young adults, older adults in that facility. And, you know, we all know when you get comfortable and you're a special needs person and suddenly your life is turned upside down and you move someplace else you're not familiar with, it's traumatic. It's, in many cases, really a problem mentally physically for these people. And I think Henry and Pat kept that place open for a lot longer than it would have been without their advocacy, and they really impacted people's lives. So I'll tell you, Henry, again, not as a teacher, not as a coach, but as a human being, him and Pat, what they did for that community was absolutely wonderful. So congratulations on that. And then Mike continued the advocacy. When I saw him, I said, you know, you're the guy. I remember vividly him coming to council meetings, and they used to last till midnight. The only place open after that was the Rio Diner. And he would complain about the trucks coming off Route 9 onto the ramp, or the cars coming off Route 9 onto the ramp, Route 9 North onto Main Street, and you could make a right and go right into the neighborhood. And Michael didn't like that because Michael lived in the neighborhood. So I vividly remember you going to meetings and nonstop pressure to the point where McGreevy said, just put a concrete curb in there and get this over with. And we did. And actually, I would say the people in the neighborhood are safer because speeding off Route 9 and into a residential place is dangerous. So you picked up the mantle of your mom and dad as advocates for the community. So congratulations for that. So I can't speak to, as I said, but Henry's track career as a coach, but look at that plaque and look at all the different accolades and look at all the different student athletes who have come through and succeeded because of him. I wish I knew him better. So I just want to say congratulations. This is a well-deserved honor. That plaque will be here forever, and people will always come here 50 years from now. People will know this is the Chomicki track. So congratulations to everyone involved.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Chomicki's son, Michael.
Let's get my glasses out so I can see everything here on my prepared speech. Thanks for everybody coming out today. On behalf of the Chomicki family, I'd like to thank you for attending this special occasion, dedication of the Woodbridge High School track in memory of my father, Henry Chomicki. It is an honor to have this track dedicated to my father within this stadium, dedicated to Nick Prisco, a legendary Woodbridge High School football coach and athletic director here at Woodbridge High School. My father worked with him in the early days of his coaching career. We'd also like to thank the Woodbridge Board of Education, Township Board of Education, as well as the current superintendent, Dr. Massimo, former superintendent, Dr. Zega, for approving this request to dedicate the track in honor of my father. Dr. Lottman, current principal, thank you for your kind words today and for arranging this event. It's much appreciated. Joe Ward, the athletic director, for all your tireless effort in getting this arranged today and many, many hours of back and forth on the phone and emails to get the plaque absolutely perfect, and can't wait to see the sign when we unveil it. Thank you very much. Everything's in perfect order. Mayor McCormick, thanks for attending today and your kind words. Same thing to Mr. Lee Warren. I wasn't here when you were principal, but honestly, thank you for coming. I appreciate you for coming out today. Your kind words. Okay, Ken and Janine Gardner, again, both Woodbridge High School alumni, track alumni. Thank you for getting the ball rolling many years ago to get this going, and finally, for the future dedication of the track today. Special thanks to my cousins, Beth Stawicki and Amy Stawicki Sankovasi. I hope I got your name perfect. For creating the memorial page and petition on social media, and together with my uncle Mike Stawicki, delivered the 3,000 plus signatures and details to the Board of Education for consideration. And finally, thanks to everyone and all the individuals who left comments on the memorial page and signed a petition, and those that are here in attendance today. Thank you all. Our family would also like to extend the well wishes to two other families honored by the Woodbridge Township Board of Education, the Peterson family for the dedication of the baseball fields here at Woodbridge High School, and the Martino family for dedication of the field house at Colonia High School. Shortly after my father's passing during the pandemic in May 2020, it was very comforting to read all the memories and condolences shared by former students, athletes, colleagues, and friends about how my father touched their lives. The volume of comments posted was truly amazing. There were comments from students and athletes from every decade, starting in the late 1950s, all the way through my father's retirement in 2006. Some comments were from students that spanned multiple generations within the same family. Many of the names were familiar to me, not because they were my classmates during my time at Woodbridge High, but because my father would routinely talk about the prospects for his next great team. Shortly after the memorial page was posted, a petition to name the track in honor of my father received, again, over 3,000 signatures of former students, athletes, colleagues, and friends. And again, it's just amazing. We couldn't believe the outpouring of support. I thought about pulling out a sample of those memorable comments from the social media page to close with, but while looking through my father's desk at home, my mother and I came upon a thank you card, and I have it here today. Thank you card written 30 years ago by two student athletes. And it reads, Mr. Chomicki, well, our time has finally come to leave Woodbridge High and pursue other things. Time to move on, as you say. I'm sure you had thousands of students, and it's hard to remember them all, but I'll never forget you. I appreciate you for all you are and have done. I never met a coach like you. You were always understanding, never nasty, always willing to give me a ride home, and always funny. Sorry. Your humor has always lifted me in the lowest of times, and your unbelievable spirit and words of wisdom actually fooled my mind a few times and helped us to win some unbelievable races. You taught me that 99% of everything is in the mind and heart, and I couldn't have accomplished them without you. Never forget our moments of pride and accomplishment together with the team. We wish you the best of luck in all you do, and if you ever need some people to run a relay, beat the odds with their powerful spirit and soul, or maybe jump some hurdles through a field of fire, we are always willing to assist you, the best coach ever. Take care. Signed by 2 track athletes in June of 1993. And again, I'd like to thank everybody for attending today. One final thing I'd like to say, and I know my father's looking down on us today, probably wondering why all this fuss about me, why all this fuss, I can't believe the outpouring of support. My son at his side, my son Kevin at his side, and I have to say to him, good job, Dad. Thank you for coming out today.
Thank you, Mike. Now we will have Mr. Chomicki's cousin, Michael Stawicki.
Good morning and welcome. I want to also extend my thanks to everyone. I think Mike covered, I don't think he missed anybody, so, but thank you all, sincerely from my heart. It means a lot. I also want to mention a special thanks to Ken Gardner, because Ken is the guy who was the big pain in the butt all these years trying to get this done, and without him pushing us, it wouldn't have happened. And thank you very much, Ken. We appreciate it. I think everybody has covered all of the accolades and successes and great comments and so forth about Henry. Yeah, Henry was my cousin, but not really. We were raised over at the Masonic Temple, which is the Phoenix building now on Green Street. Our family was the caretakers there. And I moved in with Henry and his mom and dad and my grandmother when I was 1. So he was always there. You couldn't ask for a brother better than he. And although we never said, I love you to each other, we did. And we did it through words and actions. I thought what I would share with you today was an expose on Henry Chomicki. Things you didn't know and you might find interesting. When I was a kid and Halloween would come around, I, like all the other children, would hit the streets to go to houses and collect candy. Well, in those days, people were very generous, and you ran out of room in a bag, and I would have to make a stop off at home and drop off the candy and empty it on the table, and then go back out again. By the time I got back, Henry had sorted through everything, took everything that he wanted, and left me with the rest. Henry was a candy junkie. He always had it stored away somewhere, especially chocolate. He loved chocolate and red licorice. So that was a very memorable experience, certainly a lot of fun. Everybody mentions Henry's wit and quick with a joke and a story and so forth, but you probably don't know that when Henry graduated from Woodbridge High School, he was voted class clown. So I guess everybody recognized even back then that he had that capability of telling a story, telling a joke, making a quick wit remark. Henry initially tried to play football in high school, but at about 5'5" and 110 pounds and blind as a bat, he wasn't going anywhere. So he did it for a year. The coach was afraid to even put him in the game for a play, for fear he'd get hurt. So Henry looked for something else to occupy his sports interests. And he found the love of his life in pole vaulting. I remember as a little kid watching him jump in the backyard of the Craftsman's Club over a 8-foot-high garage door and land in the neighbor's yard because it was grass. And he would do that incessantly to the point where I believe the gentleman that owned the house next door was a doctor. He would call Henry's mom up and say, "Blanche, he's at it again." And she would say, "Okay, doctor, we'll tell him to stop." But of course, he never did. The thing about Henry in track is, like I said, he fell head over heels for track. And when he got the opportunity to coach, he was a coach who wanted to be able to coach from experience. So we had every piece of track and field equipment you could think of in our house. We had shot puts, we had javelins, we had discus, obviously the pole vault. He eventually, when he, I guess, got a few extra bucks, was able to get a hold of a mat, and he set up a high jump. So I can remember as an 8-year-old kid learning how to high jump, learning how to shot put. And he felt that the only way he could coach properly was to have the experience of that, of each one of those events in track and field. So, like I said, the neighbors were always concerned that he was going to kill himself or hang himself up on a fence, but he survived. Except for one time when he first got his first fiberglass pole. That scared the hell out of him because it just bent too far and sent him up higher than he had ever been. And he had a lot of apprehension about fiberglass poles after that. Henry also, to show you what a track enthusiast he was, he took the time when I was a kid to come up with a homemade track and field game. So he created all these statistics and so forth, and drew them out on little discs with the possibility, obviously, being narrower for a really good time versus, let's say, a slower time. And it had a little electric motor with a spinner on it, and we played track and field, okay? We had our own Olympics. Lastly, what I wanted to mention about Henry was he was a little bit ahead of his time in one aspect, and we have a young lady here today who can attest to this, Annie Stonitis. In 1977, there was no girls' track team. But several of the girls, including Annie, wanted to run. And they asked him, and he took them. Gave them uniforms, added them to the team, and ran them just like the boys. No mercy. So they competed against boys. And eventually, girls track, girls cross country, and so forth became a formal sport at the high school. But that's the kind of guy Henry was. And I will leave you with this one thing about him. With Henry, it was never about him. So all the stuff you see up here, he didn't do it. And he would tell you that if he were here today. To kids, girls and boys that were in attendance or who couldn't make it, you are on that plaque. Those are your accomplishments. He just gave you the opportunity to achieve it. And lastly, say what you will, but Henry, what you saw is what you got. There was no agenda. He was a humble man and a good man. Thank you.
All right, at this time, I'd like to call up all members of the Chomicki family to get ready to unveil the sign.
I'll count down from 3. You ready? Yeah. 3, 2,
1. Welcome to the Henry Chomicki Memorial Track.
I'm sorry, I'm remiss here. There's a former student and track team member that asked me to read something to you. Some of you may know who he is. Keith McQuitter, who graduated in 1977. He wrote this on the memorial page and asked me if I would take the time to read it to you today. I believe I am the only track runner that he has coached that has made it on an Olympic track team and has run in a world-class championship. I truly love the man. He has inspired me even until this day. I am a world-ranked track runner at the age of 63 on the USA Masters track and field team. I would not have hurdles as a runner if it were not for Coach Henry Chomicki. He is missed, but never forgotten. Love you, Coach. Thank you.
And now to truly open the Henry Chomicki Memorial Track, we're going to participate in a quarter mile, one lap around the track. So our current track and field members, you guys please come forward. Love to have our students lead it.